Hey you, so today we're going to be doing a very fun video today. From the title you can already guess it, or if you can't guess it, I'm going to explain it to you. This is what is it called? Ooh, what is it called? This is going to be the high school makeup challenge, and basically what it is you do your makeup the way that you used to do it in high school, which is hilarious to me because I did not wear makeup for the longest time. I think I was like in 10th or 11th grade when I started wearing makeup, and my dad, it was hilarious because my dad was very strict, but I think he was strict in the best way possible. And so when I bought my first palette, which let me see if I can find it. So this is really gross and ugly, and yeah, but anyways, so when I bought my first palette, I was so scared. Like I went to I was at the dollar store with my mom, and I saw this palette and I was like, oh my god, I want it, Mom, can I have it? And she's like, well, I don't know, your dad probably doesn't want you to wear makeup. And so she's like, if you ask him and if he says yes, and you can wear it, otherwise you can't wear it. But anyways, I bought this little dollar store palette. This is what it looks like, and these are the colors in it. This one, I think I used most of it, but it broke. And then this is like a light champagne gold, and then this is just a gold, a bronze, a deeper like brown, bronze, some blue, green, and I can't remember what the other color in here was, but this was my first like actual makeup that I ever bought. It was $1. It was from the dollar store, and I remember what my dad said was, as long as you don't look like a clown, you can wear makeup. And that line will never escape me. Like, it will never leave my mind, the fact that he said that. I just thought it was so funny. But anyways, this is my first palette. This is what I used to use, like, and then it was all like, you know, cheap makeup that from the dollar store or like Elf or whatever, like very inexpensive makeup. That's what I used to wear. The first time I ever wore makeup for real though was in middle school, and it was this like black liner in my inner rim, and that was it. That was it. So let me go ahead and do that. So this is L'Oreal's eyeliner, and this is just a black liner. When I was the first time I ever wore makeup, this is what I used to do. I used to just pull on my lashes down, and that was it. And I always made sure that it was like a little bit like smudged a little bit. But that was it. That was the first time I ever did my makeup in middle school. And it was so unhygienic because me and like 2 or 3 other girls like shared the eyeliner pencil. We were all like, oh yeah, let's do it, let's do it. And that was it. And maybe some gloss. So let me just, I don't know that I have any like cheap gloss. And then I would just wear some gloss. This one's You're the Bomb by, I think that's the name of the brand, You're the Bomb. And Green Apple, and I had the Rolly ones, so. This was it. This is what I used to wear to class. This is what I used to look like in middle school when I first started doing my makeup. Like the first time ever. I remember being in the girls' restroom and we were all sharing this unhygienic pencil, and this was my makeup, and it would like get all smudgy here. And I just remember like when my dad came to pick me up one day, I had still left it on and I forgot. And I was just like rubbing my eyes real quickly to try to get it off. And I remember my dad being like, did you get enough sleep today? But you know, he didn't know, so, or at least I don't think he did, or he didn't say anything about it. But so that was like the first time ever that I ever wore makeup. So now I'm going to show you guys how I started doing my makeup when I had my little palette. Now I don't want to use this one in particular because it's really old and I'm scared to put this on my eye because it's, I mean, this is like 6 or 8 years old. This hard candy glam kit that I got during the holiday season just so I could do like drugstore tutorials. Anyways, this is probably the most similar thing that I have in that looks like this other one. And of course, when you're in high school, or at least for me, it was the case, I didn't have any brushes, so I'm just going to use a sponge tip applicator. And so what I used to do is I'm just going to grab this shade here, which is like the lightest goldeny shade, And I used to apply that right underneath my brow, which, come on now. Anyways, we're gonna apply this, which is not the best look for me because I have hooded lids. So, yeah. So I used to apply it like that. And then I used to take the other side of it, and I'm gonna grab some of this gold shade here, and I'm just gonna apply that to the rest of my lid. And of course, in high school, I mean, you know, you did the best that you could, so I'm gonna just bring it up to about that place and do it on the other side. And by this point, like when I started wearing makeup, I actually did watch YouTube videos, so I was kind of in the know a little bit, and people, girls in class would be like, oh, your makeup looks so nice. And mind you, like my mom didn't wear makeup and whatever, so I just did what I learned on YouTube, and it actually worked. And then I would take that same shade from the top here, and I would just pop it in the inner part. And then I would take a little bit of like a brownie shade, like this one here. It's not the so dark one. And I used to put that like underneath my lashes here. And of course, all of these shades are sparkly, which now I would never ever do. And yeah, like let's just apply that there. And sometimes I would run like a deeper shade into my crease. And as you guys saw, I was not wearing a primer. I did not apply a primer beforehand. And it's because in high school, I had no idea what a primer was for the most part. I mean, you know, you watch YouTube and they mention all these products, but you're just like, what is that? And so anyways, so I'm just going to be applying that like that. And it's just a harsh line, no blending, no nothing. You just left it because how can you blend with this, right? And as a matter of fact, I'm going to fill in my brows a little bit because I did not fill in my brows when I was in high school. And the only reason why I'm going to fill in my brows now is because I used to have like super thick eyebrows because my dad did not let me pluck my eyebrows. He didn't let me like get my eyebrows done or anything like that because, I don't know, I guess he was scared that boys would get the wrong idea or something. I don't know. But anyways, I'm just gonna, you know, overdraw my eyebrows because I kid you guys not, I used to have like the thickest eyebrows on the face of the earth. And I was always so self-conscious of my eyebrows because all the girls and, you know, all the girls had like the prettiest plucked eyebrows and whatnot. So again, this is not a representation of how I used to fill in my brows. This was just how, you know, like whenever I was growing up, I had like the thickest eyebrows on earth, it felt like, because all the girls had like, and they weren't shaped either. I don't know why I'm like doing them shaped. They were not shaped. They were like the furthest thing from shaped because they were natural. They were just virgin little brows. So yes, my brows are really, really thick. I mean, literally that thick. And I remember not curling my lashes, so I'm not going to do that. I will, however, apply, actually, you know what? I remember I started wearing liquid liner a couple years later. You know, this is what I would go for on a regular everyday basis. Like, I wouldn't wear makeup to school every day, but this is what I would wear. I wouldn't even really wear mascara ever. And then a little bit more advanced, we would go with a liquid liner like this one. This is L'Oreal's Linear Intense, and I remember this was like the first eyeliner I ever bought, and it was like legitimately just like a straight line. And it wasn't until years later did I notice that my eye shapes are extremely different. And so because of that, now I know to apply a little bit less liner on one eye and a little bit more on the other so they can look more even, because this one, you guys can see like most of the lid is pretty much covered, and this one you can still see the eyeshadow because my eyes are a little bit different. But in high school I didn't know that, so this one always looked like blacked off, like I didn't have any eyeshadow on that one, and this one did. So anyways, and then I would use a mascara. I'm just gonna use this one. This is, no, you know which one I used to use? This one. I used to use this one. This is the L'Oreal Voluminous Original, and I used to clump. And when I mean clump up my lashes. I used to make them spider leg, like literally spider legs. And I remember this one boy telling me, "Are those your real lashes?" Because I had legitimately made them so clumpy and so thick that everybody was like, "Are those your real lashes?" But that's how I liked it in high school. I mean, what are you gonna do, right? And I used to like really pile it on there, trying to make them as clumpy as I used to in high school, but this is gonna take a minute. It really will. And I didn't curl my lashes. I didn't know what that was. I remember one of my friends, like my best friend, she used to curl her lashes, and she used to always tell me, "Oh, you're so lucky you didn't have to curl your lashes to get them like that." But because my lashes used to be naturally more curled than they are now, I think that years and years of abusing your lashes maybe made a difference in my lashes. I don't know. But anyways, and I don't remember ever applying like mascara to my bottom lashes. I don't think I ever did that. It's cringe-worthy now. Like, I don't want to do this to myself, but I have to for the sake of recreating a high school me. So we're gonna go for it. And I don't have anything against clumpy lashes. I just nowadays don't like them on myself because I feel like I look crazy. But on other people, I actually like how clump lashes look. I know. Weird, huh? Anyways, I'm gonna leave that about, that. Probably more clumpy than that, but you get the gist. And in high school, I did not know anything about, when I first started wearing makeup, I didn't know anything about foundation. And again, you're in high school, you don't have the money, the funds to buy all this stuff. And so I think that the first thing I ever bought was from NYC, and it was like a tinted moisturizer. And so this is the only tinted moisturizer that I have, and this one's from Flower Beauty. And I remember I did used to wear some on my face, of course, so we're gonna do that now. And of course with my hands, because I don't think I ever used a brush in high school. I didn't have any, so I don't think I did. I don't remember. I don't have the best memory. I have like the worst memory on earth, by the way. And of course I would not match my neck to save my life, and I would get the wrong shade because, you know, NYC only had only like 3 or 4 shades, and you just went with what you had, you know. Anyways, I did not wear any concealer. I don't remember. I think I was like in college when I first started wearing concealer, to be quite honest with you guys. So I always had like dark circles underneath my eyes because why not? And on days that I did not wear like my tinted moisturizer, I would just wear a powder. I would never set my whatever this is, my tinted moisturizer, I would never set it, so I'm not going to do that. And then about, I think my senior year of high school, I started wearing blush, and I started wearing the Wet n Wild Color Icon blushers. This one is in Heather Silk. I don't know that this is the one that I used to use, but something like this. And I would, of course, use the little brushes because yo girl didn't have any brushes. So, and I didn't wear, you know, bronzer, highlighter, whatever, all that stuff. I mean, I just wore what I had. This looks terrible, but this is legitimately what I used to look like. So I can't even like say anything about it. Like, this is what I used to look like. And eventually my dad let me get my eyebrows done, so I'm gonna start wiping some of this away. At some point in my life, my dad let me get my eyebrows done. They're still pretty thick though, so I'm gonna leave them pretty thick looking. But essentially, this is what I look like in high school. I didn't know anything about lipsticks or anything like that. I didn't actually even like lipsticks. I maybe had a gloss, but it was still like clear gloss, so I'm gonna leave this the way it is. But this is how I looked in high school. This is legitimately, like, I never did my hair in high school, so my hair would always look this frizzy and crazy. I never dressed up in high school. I would always look like this, exactly how I look right now. I never did anything in high school that nowadays I kind of continue doing. Not any makeup habit, not anything. I don't know, I didn't. So this is what I looked like in high school. And then I'm going to show you guys one other eye look that I used to love doing. Like, it was like when I started doing makeup, like when I finally started doing my makeup and stuff, this was like my favorite thing to do. I'm just going to apply it over. My favorite thing to do in high school was a silver, white, and black smoky eye. So we're going to start off with this white shade here. And we're going to apply that into my inner corner. And I used to love it to be like super duper bright as, I don't know, as bright as snow. Like, I used to want it to look like super duper bright. I remember that. And I remember wanting to make sure that it was like in my tear duct area. Like, make sure it's like super duper white. I spread it out a little bit much, and I didn't blend anything. And then I would take that same white shade and I would apply it to like the first third of my eye. I have some of that gold under there, so I'm not gonna look exactly like how I looked in high school, but you guys will get the idea. So something like that. I used to do that because I used to love how it made my eyes look like super open and stuff. And then I would take a gray color and I would apply that to like the middle part of my eye. And again, these shades are not going to show up as true because I have gold and stuff underneath. And on this eye. And of course you don't blend anything because, again, I didn't have a blending brush. And then you just take a little bit of the black and you just pop that. And I learned this from Dulce Candy. I learned the whole like applying one shade and then the next shade and then the next shade and all that stuff. I remember that. I remember learning this from Dulce Candy. Oh my god, I have all this fallout. Oh, and the best part was that I would try to like make like a shape to my eye. Like, not exactly like that, but something in that aspect, just not that long. And then on this side, like that, like that. That's exactly how my eyeshadow used to look in high school, like this. And I remember when I first did this look, I was like so in love with it. And again, I learned this from Dulce Candy. I'm not saying I learned this technique from Dulce Candy. I'm saying this tutorial, I remember I learned it from Dulce Candy, wearing like silvers and stuff on her eyes. And then I would take the black and apply that underneath my lower lash line. All this fallout. I wonder if I had this much fallout in high school. Probably, but I wouldn't wear my, I would wait till my foundation was on to apply everything. And then of course you apply the black liner in the waterline. Make sure that was always nice and dark. I literally used to like paint that on like 10 times a day because I always wanted it to look black, even though it would smudge everywhere. And then of course made sure your liner was on fleek. And the clumpy mascara needed to be extra clumpy because you couldn't really see your lashes behind all this dark eyeshadow. So you had to make sure they were like extra clumpy. And let me just take some of this fallout out because I know that I didn't have fallout. I do remember in high school I used to love like this really beautiful pink purpley shade on my lips, which I don't own anymore. It was like from CoverGirl or something like that. This is what I look like in high school, and I legitimately have a picture like this somewhere in my collection. I have a picture of me looking exactly like this. With like pink cheeks, but you can still see all the like the blemishes on my skin. I didn't really, not blemishes, but you know how like those little veins underneath. And I remember seeing the eyeshadow like this, exactly like this. This is exactly what I looked like in high school. Exactly like it. This shade, I used to love this shade in high school. This one's the Revlon Darling lip. What is this called? The Revlon Just Bitten Kissable Balm Stain, and Darling was my favorite thing in high school. I just found this, and or a color just like this, and this is what I would wear every day. This is what I look like in high school. Silvery black smoky eye with like purple lips and pink blush and super thick eyebrows. Never filled in, so it was like very sparse and stuff, like how worse than, let me just, you know, like no product here, here, anywhere. They were just thick, and then I got them plucked and they were still like never filled in, so they were like always, you could see all these gaps and stuff. A little bit of moisturizer, like tinted moisturizer, and that was it. No concealer, no lip liner, no nothing. This is what I look like in high school. Cute little old me. I hope you guys found this semi-hilarious, or at least felt sorry for me, because this is what I look like in high school. But I mean, what are you gonna do? You know, like back then I used to watch YouTube videos, but I didn't have the stuff that the girls had. I didn't have any makeup brushes. I didn't know, but with practice, I now create all these really cool looks that I absolutely love. And that just goes to show that even though your makeup might look like this today, it does not necessarily mean that that's what it's going to look like 5-6 years in the future. I mean, you could be a makeup artist for all we know. Just because you start off looking like this does not mean that that's how you're going to look in 5 to 6 years. Yeah, I have nothing else to say about this. I'm just a little ashamed. But not really, because, you know, what is there to be ashamed about? You're growing up. You don't know things, and you learn things, and that's how you get better at things. So I'm actually thinking about doing a look, like an updated look. Like, how would I do the makeup that I used to wear in high school? How would I do that now? Like, if you guys want to see like a smoky, silvery look, let me know. Which is like the worst for my skin tone. Like, honestly, I'm like the warm tone type of person. Like, that's what looks best with my skin tone, but yet I used to wear cool tone eyeshadows. Made no sense. But anyways, guys, that is it. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. And like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. It wasn't a tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed this embarrassing recreation of my high school days. And yeah, so until next time, I'll talk to you guys all very soon. Bye!